Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome to the Breakdown Podcast, where we take a deep dive into the highs and the lows of Cardiff City Football Club. I am Si, as I mentioned, and today we are grappling with a brutal loss to QPR, and one that has left the team and the fans pretty frustrated. But it's not just the performance on the pitch that's concerning, it's the growing sense of neglect of it. With Vincent Tan and the club hierarchy seemingly absent, out of touch, the fans are leaving in their droves. They feel ignored, and the apathy is spreading throughout the club. The low crowds, the dwindling support, an increasing sense of frustration are becoming the norm. In the midst of all that, Omar Risa has been left as a convenient scapegoat. But is he really to blame for the club's wider problems? Or is he just another victim of a failing system that's set up by those at the top of the football club? We'll discuss all this and more, unpacking the issues at the heart of this. It's not even a crisis anymore. Ongoing disgrace, and see what the future of Cardiff City holds, both in the short term and the long term. Stay with us for an honest, open, and frank discussion about the game and a whole lot more. But as we wait for the rest of the folks to join us, the latecomers and all that good stuff, just going to double check the stream as well. If you do have any specific questions or subject or anything which you want to discuss, drop it in the comments as always, and I'll try and get through them as best I can. Obviously, if it's something which is really pressing and you'd like to support the channel, you can leave a super chat, and that will always get read out as yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Look, it's frustrating. It's angering. It ruins your weekend. It ruins your week, and the fans are just left to, I don't even know, like they no one cares at the football club apart. Like I'm not saying Omar Risa and the rest of the coaching staff. I'm on about the people at the top. They just don't give a shit. Don't care. Like if they did, they wouldn't have let this ongoing situation. And I'm not even referring to this season and this instance now. I'm referring to the last 10 plus 15 years, whatever it is, of just neglect. Like for a group of people who are successful businessmen in their own right individually, they're doing a hell of a job of making a pig's ear of a football club. We all know the issues. We all know what is not there, shall we say, and we all can see that as the issue. There's no one running the football operations. We know this. So I don't want to go over old ground too much with regards to that. But like, we haven't had a manager now, a permanent manager, for over 60 days. Now, on the football side of things, yeah, you could say, has the new manager bounce gone? I think that's fair to say. But what support is Omar Risa getting? He's an inexperienced manager who's learning on the job with effectively the under 21 staff. And look, I rate a few of them very highly. I think a few of them have really helped him out when they came in just after he took over. But like you can see, since his trip to Malaysia, Omar Risa has not been the same in the interviews and things like that as he was before that. So whatever was gone on and said, I don't know what that is, but whatever it was, has most definitely had an effect on his body language, the things he's saying. He seems like a man who is just waiting to be replaced. And in my opinion, look, I'm not saying he's the right guy. I'm not. I said that. I like tactically, I've got big worries about him. And last night was another example of that. But also, you can only work with what you've got, and it is what it is. Like the club should be absolutely ashamed of what is our 125th year anniversary, and it's absolutely farcical. In fact, I'd go as far to say that over the next 6 months, Cardiff City World has more planned and more tributes coming out for our 125-year history than the football club does. The football club is a multi-million-pound business with a fan channel which is run by volunteers and loses money every month. So how is that possible? It's a shambles from top to bottom, whether it's the owner, the board, the comms team, what they do on social media, what they do on match days, the overall match day experience, the lack of support for an interim manager who showed signs that he could have been up to the job if he had the right support. They say they're going to give him support, and then they fucking disappear for another 2-3 weeks. It's like absolutely ludicrous. But Omar Risa, just like Errol Bullock, when I got behind him last year, is not beyond criticism. And I don't think he's helping himself. He's making mistakes. He's making weird decisions. And it's problematic. Let's talk about the game first and foremost from yesterday. We said in our preview, we've said the same thing in all our previews for God knows how long. Cardiff City at home, start fast, start aggressive, implement yourself on the other team. Do not let them settle. Get an early goal, and then you're very much capable of going to control the game and get in and winning the 3 points. But we are effectively, right? I said this morning on my Facebook page, effectively, we are playing exactly the same tactics as what we did under Errol Bullock. The only difference is that the wingers are playing higher up, so we're creating more chances because we're getting them in behind, sometimes down the sides, to create chances. I looked at that bench yesterday and I saw no Kanga, saw Rindorf. I was like, finally, here we go. You're 1-0 down against a team that is absolutely devoid of confidence, form, anything. They got some good players, but they are like even more low on confidence than us. You knew that if we had got a goal 60, 70 minutes, we'd have gone on and won that game because they would have fallen apart. But it's sideways, backwards, which is fine. Possession football works if you do it at speed and the passes have purpose and you break the lines and you do it quickly. But every single time Cardiff City got the football yesterday in the second half, particularly, we were so slow that we just allowed QPR to get 2 banks of 4 or a 4 and a 5 and a 1 and just sit in. They've scored. They don't need to do anything other than be compact, sit in, press at the certain times, at the right times, and try and hit us in the transition on the break. It is like mind-boggling to me that in 2024, in a home game where we need a win, we're going to start with Joe Ralls in the centre of our midfield. Now, if we played a flat 4-3-3, then I can get Joe Ralls as the one who sits in front of a defence with 2 box-to-box 8s who progress and get up and move the ball quickly. Fantastic. I can get behind that. I can see the tactical logic behind that, and I can see how that can work to break down teams whilst giving you a bit of security. But Alex Robertson, who's our best midfielder by some way, he's playing so deep that he can't. He still carried the ball and he still broke the lines, but he's so deep he may as well be playing centre back. Now, that's not him. That's a tactical instruction for him to be the one who kind of plays from deep. We've seen what he's capable of. We've seen that he can create, get shots off, get in amongst it. He's quite aggressive. Why are we tactically instructing us to let Leeds, that's fucking PTSD, that is, from watching the Bullet team against Leeds and then a Risa team against QPR yesterday, because it was exactly the same. Just like jogging back, let them get into position. You've got to win the game. You've got to get a goal. But anyway, I digress. About 25 minutes to go, and I'm like, QPR look a little bit edgy at the back. The keeper looked a bit edgy, wasn't catching when he should have caught and stuff like that. Made some good saves, but like I was just like, right, Robinson's missed like 3 or 4 really good chances. Ruben Colwell struggled to find any sort of space. In fairness to him, a similar problem to the other day. and he can't do anything without the ball. And the gap between him and Robinson is so big. It's difficult, but like he was poor, Ruben was. He had a spell of about 12, 15 minutes late on in the second half where all of a sudden he seemed to come to life, created a few chances, found a bit of space, had a couple of shots. But he's still he's gone back a little bit to trying to do that Hollywood thing, like screamer from 30 yards or like that really difficult pass instead of just moving the ball quickly, interchanging and rotating the players and getting in and around teams like that. That's what we're good at. Robinson could easily have had a hat-trick in the second half. 20 minutes to go. Bring Reindorf on, right? I get it. The people at the club don't think he's ready. I get it. He's raw. But you know what he is? He's enthusiastic. He's keen to impress. He's aggressive in his pressing. He runs around. He works hard. He runs the channels. He tries to get in behind. He puts his body around as more than a lot of those players did last night. And you know what he would do? Is just by doing those basic things, he would cause chaos, which can lead to a bobbling ball falling to someone else, to him, to get a shot off, to create chances. But we're so slow. And when, like, do you know how many people texted me and say I left the game at like 75 minutes, 80 minutes, just left? They'd had enough because they could see it. The writing was on the wall. Ollie Tanner, still one of our more dangerous players. I know he's played with an injury, but you're losing a football match. And I just wasn't sure that he was the guy, like, because he's your most direct winger. I thought O'Dowda, was real good actually when he switched to the right. I thought he was better. I thought Bagan was decent. Robertson was decent, but just positionally was in the wrong place. Robinson struggled a little bit, but he had chances. Got to take them. And when he brought Mate on, I was just like, Jesus, like, what are we doing? Like, it's like you look at it and you think, like, I don't blame him. I feel sorry for him. I've said that numerous times, but he's not helping himself. He really isn't. It's one of them, right, where we had like 20 odd shots and I think we only hit the target 8 times, which is not good, is it? It's not even a 50% on target rate. But we had big chances that we should have scored. There was one, I think it was Colwell, it might have been O'Dowda, pulled it across the box and Robinson's just got to get anything on it, side foot, and he just missed the ball completely. And it's like, I just don't get it. Like, on the pitch, I don't get what we're trying to do at the moment. All the things that worked for Omar Risa when he first took over the interim job, we aren't doing. We're not pressing as a team. We're not pressing in units. We're not pressing at certain trigger points like heavy touches and things like that. We're letting teams settle again. And to me, that's a massive problem, because once you let teams settle, you let them build confidence. And it just felt like Groundhog Day. And to me, I know people will say you can't chuck the youngsters in because, if we go down, it can destroy them. You can't tell me that like a K Pacquiao at home now playing at right back would be any better or worse than what Perry Ng was, for instance. You can't tell me that Joel Colwell wouldn't be more athletic and getting about the place than Joe Rose would. But at least if the younger player, I know Joe Colwell was on loan, but I just mean in general terms, right? If these young players were on the pitch, at least the fans have a bit of passion and excitement, because at the moment, the apathy is just from top to bottom. It's like no one gives a shit. And it breaks my heart. Honestly, just breaks my heart that just the lack of care. People who I know, no matter what, will stay to the very last whistle and clap the players off, leaving at 70 minutes. Matthew sent me a video now, 10 minutes before kickoff, and the fucking ground is empty. And it's just like, And that comes, and I've got to say, right, that comes as well from the lack of effort that's gone into the 125th anniversary. I got loads of ideas, which I've tried to put to them about things that they could do, um, with or without me, but like things that they could do, and I've tried to communicate them, but whatever. It's the lack of effort into it is bizarre to me, especially when the crowds are so low, right? Because the way you get people there, apart from playing better football and exciting football and actually bring people in that way, is you remind them of why they go to Cardiff, why they go through the pain every season, every year, nostalgia. Once a week, bring out a video, 125 years to choose from. Tell a story about a moment, a goal, a game, an incident. I was there when Eddie scored. FA Cup final. Joe Legley scores against Barnsley at Wembley. Andy Campbell scores at the Millennium Stage. There's so many fucking stories to tell. Nothing. My point being, if you put out a video every week of the season on a Monday, remind people why they love Cardiff City. Remind people why they love going home and away, no matter how bad things get. We don't care. Don't care. They don't care. And then in turn, it just goes, why should the fans care? And that's the feeling. It's frustrating. I understand, like, people get very protective, right, over Joe Rawls when people, like, I know Paul Abandonado, for instance, being quite vocal about his criticism of Joe Rawls and some others. For me, like, Joe is a massive part of the club. He's the club captain, and he should be a massive part of the squad this season. But there's games and situations where I think he's most valuable and most effective. And I just don't think last night was the game. Last night we needed, like, athleticism and pace and aggression, both on and off the ball, and we just didn't have it. I actually don't think Joe Rawls played that bad in terms of on the ball, but he's not, he's never been the quickest. He's never been the most, like, athletic and strong. And he's a bit older. It catches up with all of us. That's not to say, like, I'm saying he's shit and we should sell him. I don't understand it. Right, let's go to some of these comments. I'm just going to pick some at random because there's lots. People are not happy. This one, Jeff says, "Si, your excellent video you dropped 2 days ago about the development. Thank you, mate. Says it all about Reindorf. Headless chickens don't work. But he is the sort of player, Jeff, off the bench who can cause mayhem and create chances. And ultimately, mate, he offers more than Mate, than Kanga, and he probably offers more than Keane at the moment because Keane's not getting even in the squad. For whatever reason, whether you agree or disagree, he's not in the squad. I don't understand it. Like, you got to ask the question, right? Could Eli King, Will Fish, Joel Colwell, Reindorf, Louis Giles, Kay Pacquiao, trying to think who else, obviously Isaac Davis to come back, are these guys going to be any worse than what we're seeing at the moment? And maybe it'll give a kick up the arse to some of these guys who are not putting it in, to be honest with you. Like, some of them are not putting it in. And I hate doing, like, these ranty, negative shows. Like, but I will always be honest. I'm not going to, like, beat around the bush and pretend that it's all rosy or, like, that the club have got a plan. They're going to miss out on Slaven Bilic because Athens are in for him. I know there's another championship club who've spoken to him. They could have tied that up 3 weeks ago. I know they could have. But they're faffing about. Shall we, shan't we? Should we wait till January? Should we pay this fee? Well, it's going to be too late. Steve Cooper, I understand people think he'd be a real good choice. And as a manager, yeah, great. But he's not going to come. He's not going to deal with Tan. he would probably want a lot of money in wages, or probably more than what we would pay. He would also want a transfer budget, which I'm sure we could get some, but also he. Sorry, I got distracted by a question. It's I'm not having tape at all. Like, fuck that. I don't want to see him in a Cardiff shirt. No matter how much it would boil the absolute piss out of all them lot down the road, I don't want to see that. And I'm damn sure he doesn't want to see that either. He doesn't want to be in a Cardiff tracksuit. So it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Mark Robbins, I'm not sure about him. Like, really? I think there's certain things appeal to me, like with him. Like, I like his system, the sort of 3-4-2-1 type thing. I like that system. I think it's so flexible. And I also think it suits our players. However, he fell out with his assistant manager at Coventry, and he was gone months later, and he seems to have not been as effective without him. And the coaching and the staff are so important. It's a real tricky one. Matt, I think it was Matt. Someone asked what top this is. This is a limited edition Ajax top. It's a Bob Marley limited edition. There's a big massive picture of Bob Marley on the back, and it's got like one heart, one love. Every little thing will be all right, and stuff like that written on it. It's cool. I like it. Martin says our play lacked intelligence, crossing the ball into the box when we didn't have one player attacking the ball. Yeah, mate. There was a point, I forget who it was, where we had the ball on the right hand side of the box, and the person who had the ball had someone who had gone for an overlap, so he was like on the touchline, and he was like on the point of the box. He had Robertson and then probably Rawls to the side of him, and Robinson had come short. There was no one in the box. They were all there for the quick interchange, and we put it in the box. And it's like the lack of like care on the ball. Like, Jesus Christ, don't force it. Like, you've got to look after the ball. And I kind of get that people will say, well, you're contradicting yourself because you're saying we're just going sideways, backwards. But no, like, look after the ball, keep hold of the ball, move it quickly. So their QPR players have to move quickly too. The quicker you move it, the more you move it, the tighter they get. They make a mistake, a couple of little triangles, 1-2s, you through, you round the side, you round the back. QPR were very disciplined in the way they did defense. Martin's just made another really interesting point, actually, and something which I spoke about at the start of the season. He says the tactic of O'Dowd switching into the middle to allow Robinson to drift wide did not work. So it worked, didn't it? He scored a goal from it the other week. But ultimately, I think the most effective Callum Robinson for Cardiff City is the one who plays on the shoulder, occasionally drops in to link up, but generally is looking to get in behind in the central areas and down the side of the centre-backs, because it pulls people out of position. And it means if they press high and they try and push up to the halfway line and you do win the ball back or you get it in a good position, he's in. And I think he's drifting too much out of position, which is fine. You know, some of the best number 9s in the world drop really deep and they play make and they link up. It's fine if your wingers and your 10 have got pace and they're running in behind. But Tanner's staying wide generally until he gets the ball. O'Dowd is staying wide, so they're not like running in behind in the central areas. And Ruben wanted to feet rather than breaking the lines to go through. For me, Cardiff have got to make changes to the starting lineup. Big changes, to be honest. And at the moment, unless we have a system change, I'd probably put Ruben on the bench on Saturday. He's not been effective. It's not just down to him, but it is partially down to him. He's working hard, but he's not picking up the ball in the right areas. He's getting frustrated and trying to force it. But then it's like, who'd you put there? Well, I'd be interested to see, though, Ruben in the 10 with a Reindorf who's got that pace to get in behind. Maybe you could push Robinson out wide or something like that. I don't know, but there's got to be changes. And the the interesting thing now is away from home. That is a game where you're more looking at like a rules or a psyopis. But I think because the midfield was so ineffective last night, I think Risa goes back to his Turnbull and Robertson pivot, and I'm not sure that's the best thing for away from home. It's madness. Jonathan says AK Athens in for Slaven Bilic as well. Yeah, too slow we are, mate. Too slow off the field, too slow on the field. Philip says, and the club not happy with Bandonato's criticism of rules via not a bot tweet. Shocking because he was telling the truth. Yeah, it's, mate, like, I don't know what they expect. You know, like, people like Paul Abandonato or, like, not so much Glenn. Like, I think Glenn does some real good work for Wales Online. He's one of the few good things about that website. He's a really good journalist. But he don't think he always is as straight talking or like straight to the thing in terms of his criticism of the club, because he's trying to keep those links to keep getting the stories. So I get it. It's one of those things. I'm not saying that he doesn't criticize him, just that I think sometimes he maybe would, I don't know, maybe he wouldn't, but I'd assume that maybe he wants to say more but can't because he doesn't want to lose those links. He needs those links to do his job. Paul Abandonato is a, freelance, whatever, semi-retired, I'm not sure. But, like, Paul's a City fan. He cares. So he will say, if that was shit, he'll say it's shit. And if it's good, he'll say it's good. I don't know what the football club expects. Like, we can all see the problems. It's not just me, or it's not just Paul Abandonato, or it's not just whoever. Like, everybody can see the issues off the field. Everybody can see that we need people running the football side of the organ, like the football side of the football club, funnily enough. You need people who know the game and know how to do it. And it's just like, if the club are going to get all pissy about that, I don't know what to tell you, like, because the way you're going is going to get worse. Bizarre. Philip also says, people do not care anymore. Time has drained every bit of enthusiasm out of us. Yeah, it's one of them, mate. Jonathan says, at least in League One next season, we'll have a midfield of Eli King, Alex Robertson and Joe Colwell. That should be pretty decent in that league. Well, mate, in Cardiff, we'll probably sell like Alex Robertson, Ro Ruben, Joel. We'll sell them all, won't we? We need the money. Jeff says it's about time for a big protest outside the ground. The best game would be the Jacks, which is on Sky. The coverage would be immense. Most games are on Sky now, mate, but I get what you mean, like with the actual intro and all that sort of stuff. The coverage, by the way, of the EFL, these commentators are bloody awful, to the point where my son said to me yesterday when we were watching the game, he was like, you should start flipping doing alternative commentaries on the games on the members section, because they're so bad. And they're like, these are Sky. Sky's supposed to be the pinnacle of football coverage, and their punditry and their co-coms are just appalling. Really bad. Paul says, the board are very quiet for me. Seems all communication is an all-time low. It sucks. Yeah. Yep. I was supposed to be doing something with someone, and that's gone quiet as well. And we'll see. Don't want to burn any bridges just yet, but the communication is bizarre, isn't it? Absolutely bizarre. We need a striker with both pace and power. The typical type that comes to my head both annoys me and would annoy a lot of Cardiff fans, but I think Oba Fenwick would be the perfect attribute striker. We need pace, mate, up front, like someone who's going to really put themselves about. And that's why, even though I tend to agree that Reindorf might not be ready, Cameron Jerome was nowhere near ready when we threw him in the first team, and he did all right. Like, Reindorf has a lot of those traits that sometimes they just cause problems for defenders because he's quick. He just doesn't leave you alone. He scores goals, so like, it's not going to be any worse. That's what I think. And look, Callum Robinson's been one of the few positive shining lights this year, but he can't do it all on his own. And he's also not he's not prolific in that he's going to take every chance he gets. So, and not many strikers in the world football are going to take every single chance they get. Should he have scored yesterday? Yeah, he should have got at least one, I thought. I don't know maybe people disagree with that. I thought there was 3 at least chances that he really, really should have taken. And I felt like that, for a team which doesn't score, you can't miss chances, clear-cut chances. You can't miss those. For me, like, I don't know whether people agree with that. Jeff says get Mark Robbins' assistant in to help Risa. Jonathan says the manager I thought about the past few days doesn't get mentioned is Rosinha, still out of work after leaving Hull. Yeah, I thought he was working abroad, mate. I might be wrong. Let's have a look. We need Brian Barry Murphy in to help Risa. The guy's coaching skills are quality, and he has some experience in management as well. Yeah, Ahmed, you're telling the wrong person. I've been saying that since the summer. I dedicated a video to just get this guy in some form. Doesn't matter where, just get him in the football club because he's that good. But as usual, we're behind the trends, behind everything. 5 years behind in every single aspect. Risa's Coventry have appointed Lampard, haven't they? Shows that we ain't the only circus in the league, mate. Frank Lampard is a bad manager, in my opinion. Bad manager. And they might go down now. This could be good for us. Martin says El Ghazi's movement is more effective for Robinson, even though he's not looked sharp. Yeah. And that's why I think they kept sticking with El Ghazi, even though he was struggling and it wasn't up to what he's capable of. The positions he takes up are very intelligent, and his movement off the ball is intelligent. It created a lot of space for Ruben, for O'Dowda, for Robinson, and his link-up play is pretty good, even when he's a bit out of form and stuff. Jonathan says the media are afraid to stand up to the club. The Echo tried standing up to the club, and the club banned the Echo for interviews. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Abandonado changes his views like the wind, says Jeff. Such a reactive man. I want Bullock to stay. I want Bullock to go. I want Risa to stay on a short contract, and now he wants him gone. I think, in fairness to Paul, he said from the start with Bullock, he really wanted it to work. And he felt let down by the things that were promised by the manager at the end of last year not coming. The Risa ones, I think, is different. Like I said myself probably 3-4 weeks ago, give it to him to the end of the season and then have a look, but give yourself an out in January to, bring someone in if it's not going well. If I'm being honest now, I probably wouldn't give it to Risa. I think tactically we look pretty poor. And that's not like last night, just last night. That's a general. I think we've been quite poor for 4 or 5 games now. I can't remember the last game where I thought we played well, to be honest with you. But so Callum Robinson's expected XG yesterday was 0.47. Expected assists 0.02. He had 2 shots on target, 2 shots blocked. According to the stats, he only missed 1 big chance. No key passes, but very poor. So let's have a look at that. Let's have a look on SofaScore at some of the ratings. Who got the good ratings? Gutas got good ratings, 7.7. Robertson, 7.5. Rule, 7.4. O'Dowda, 7.1. NG, 7.3. So I thought Gutas was good, Robertson was good, and I thought O'Dowda was good. The rest, I didn't think were great. I thought Begum was pretty good as well. He got a 6.9. I thought Begum was actually really good. 3 clearances, 3 tackles, 3 out of 5 ground duels, aerial duel 1, possession lost 11 times. No keep. Yeah, I think, like, I thought Bacon was pretty good. So look at Ruben's stats from yesterday. It'll be interesting. It's all up the right-hand side again. I think he needs to not just be going to the right-hand side to link up with Tanner. He needs to pick up other pockets of space to try and... We're very lopsided. We seem to overload one side, but then we don't play the switch ball where there's space. It's very odd, to say the least. Ruben Colwell, 4 key passes, 2 shots on target, 1 off target, 1 shot blocked. Dribble attempts, 3 out of 7. 73 touches. Expected XG, 0.12. How many times did he give the ball away? 15. Yeah. Weird that, isn't it? Like, statistically, Ruben didn't do that well, but he did have a little flurry in the second half. Let's have a look what else we got. Jeff says, agree. The EFL commentators have no soul excitement in them. Yeah. None of them are like, they don't seem like they're like real championship fans, do they? It's just like they're there. Jonathan says, Sky do employ people like Roy Keane who still wants to fight fans in his spare time. Mate, I love Roy Keane. I have Roy Keane all day. Jody Morris, is he going to Coventry? If Jody Morris is going to Coventry with Lampard, then it might work. Jody Morris is an excellent coach. And I actually said that Cardiff should talk to him. So that'll be interesting if Jody Morris does go. El Ghazi's out for a few more weeks, isn't he? Yeah, the board have absolutely stitched up Omar Risa. Even if they had no intention of ever giving him the job till Christmas, till the end of the year, and he was just an interim manager, to not give him the support to do the job is outrageous. Can you imagine? Like, in whatever job you do, right? You're doing this new job, promotion, the most high pressure job in the company, but you get no support. You just do it and see what happens. Absolutely outrageous. Graham says that the whole club needs looking at. Players don't look like they've got 90 minutes in them. Players getting setbacks all the time is very odd. Crowd needs to be next to away support. The ground is dead. Yeah, mate. That's Taylor's oldest time, isn't it? Graham says, plus who's signing the likes of Kanga and Bowler, etc. Problem is, mate, we've got no football structure. So I would be really interested. I would imagine that our managerial options, our signings, and any footballing decisions that need to be made are made by the owner via the consultancies, agencies that we pay lots of money, and the board. They're who make the decisions. And you can't tell me that those agencies, regardless of what you think of them and whether they're good or bad, those people, or whether you should be getting advice from them, that's not the point. The point is, they don't care about Cardiff. It's just a bit of money for a minute. Like, they don't care. There's no passion in there. There's no care long-term thinking about, we've got, we've got a group of fullbacks coming through. So maybe getting an experienced fullback for this year on loan, or a young fullback on loan this year to challenge these players would be good, or like a right back. Just for this year, because we've got so many coming through, we don't want to deter their long-term development. They don't care about that. So there's just, and I just use that as a hypothetical. Like, mine says, O'Dowda put 2 crosses in last night that would have been converted by any competent centre forward. Yeah, one of them bounced in the 6-yard box, didn't it? It's outrageous. Jonathan says, another former Chelsea coach who has a good reputation gone to Coventry with Lampard. Morris, Craig Davis or something like that, I think his name is, yeah. And that's the thing, mate, right? Maybe Lampard's learned that if he has a good team around him, that can make up for any potential deficiencies that he may have as a manager. But also, he will learn. He won't be the same manager that he was previously. So, look, it might work. You never know. Paul says some kid behind a PC is signing our players, looking at stats, etc. It's bull crap. Yeah, I think the eye test is gone, mate. The eye test is gone. Going to be wrapping up in just a second, but if you have got any questions or anything you want to talk about further, get it in now quickly. Tomorrow night we have the preview of the Coventry game. That's going to be pre-recorded because I've got other commitments, but also Rodri Gigs and Football is on tomorrow night on Ace Podcast Nation if you want to watch that too. I've got a video coming out on Slaven Village, which will probably be out tomorrow now because it's going to be out of date otherwise. Among other things, still got a Question of Cardiff City game show to come out, which is kind of just waiting for a gap in the schedule or the best time to put it out. We've got some real cool stuff coming up in the run up to Christmas, featuring everyone off the channel and some special videos in there as well. Some heart-wrenching stuff, some cool stuff with ex-players and stuff like that. So there's lots and lots of stuff to come. Make sure you're subscribed. Please do spread the word. If you want to become a member, just hit that join button, and we have exclusive shows each week. Drop a bit of try and I don't know what you'd call it, behind the scenes news, maybe stuff which is being talked about in the club. If we hear anything, stuff like that, that'll go like on the member section. We also have early access to things like the vlogs, the City Legend events. So got the Willie Boland event and the Joe Ledley event coming out before Christmas. So they'll be up for members beforehand as well. We've got lots and lots of stuff coming. And, we'll have a few ex-players knocking around as well. So keep it locked into the channel. Reese and Matt will be the post-match show 1927 pod on Saturday night. I think it's going to be a 9 o'clock job because I think Matt might be going to Coventry. If he's not back in time, either I will or Rob or someone will jump in and go with Reese. But Jonathan says we need a Dalman event. He needs to hear some home truths. Well, it won't be an event, mate, but I'm very positively hopeful that he'll be on the channel at some point this season. But we'll wait and see. Trying to think if we've got anything else to share with you guys. Do you think Chris Willock deserves a start? Like, it's so difficult to come off the bench and make a difference. Like, does he deserve an opportunity to maybe go in a 10? Yeah, it'll be live, Jonathan. Same as the ones previously. It'll be live. He won't. The only request of the when I first had him on, I gave him the option to pre-record it or do it live. He said live was fine. I also, because I didn't know him at that point, gave him the opportunity. Do you want me to not talk about any particular subject? Do you want me to sort of shield the questions a little bit? And basically the only kind of rule is as long as it's not abusive, ask it. So that, and I'm assuming that it'll be the same as it has the previous 3 times that he's come on. Obviously it wasn't on Cardiff City World, it was on Ace Podcast Nation, but it's in the works, mate. It takes ages to sort out, unfortunately. But I'd imagine it probably won't happen until we get a new manager, if I was guessing. We'll finish with this. What would your starting lineup be for Saturday? So mine will probably change between now and when I do the preview because I'll have a closer look at how Coventry play and stuff like that. But I'm going to go Alnwick in goal. I would love to see us go 3 at the back, but we won't. I would love to see us go 3 at the back. I think it would work really good. I think I'd play Rinamoto alongside Robertson in midfield. And I think I'd play O'Dowda left, Tanner right, Ruben in the 10 and Robinson, but Reindorf will be coming on. I'm on the brink, me, with Reindorf. Like, if I was picking a team, I'd even contemplate starting him and putting Robinson either on the bench or maybe out wide to give one of the wingers a rest. I just think we need to freshen it up a little bit. I definitely put Rinamoto in the sort of holding midfield, try to give Robertson a bit more freedom to get forward, and Rinamoto puts himself about a bit, which I do like. I've got to say, I would probably contemplate putting Will Fisher right back as well. I think he deserves a chance. I felt a bit sorry for Darland, where like he came in and we were playing badly and he wasn't able to really get going. But the reason I'd go 3 at the back is because I'd put the youngsters out wide to give us some genuine pace. So if I could just pick the side, I would go Chambers, Gutas, Darland, or maybe even NG as the third centre back, because that could work quite well as well. So maybe NG as the third centre back, let Darland find his feet a bit. So I would go Chambers on the left, Gutas in the middle, the NG on the right of the 3, and then I would have Ollie Tanner as one wing back, and I would have probably K Pacquiao, but maybe Giles, certainly one of those two as the other wing backs. So him and Tanner as wing backs. If Tanner's not doing it, or we're doing the, going up and get Kanga, K Pacquiao or Giles, whichever one didn't start, on the other fullback as well. Midfield, Robertson goes in there, then probably Rinamoto, so it'd be like a 3-4, and then I'd have Ruben and Robinson behind Reindorf. Take that for a team. Bit of a change. O'Dowda would be unlucky to be dropped, so maybe O'Dowda and Colwell behind Reindorf. But I just think that 3 sort of 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3, whatever suits us better. But look, it is what it is. Guys, I appreciate you all 100 people who's watching now. Like, I appreciate you all. We all love Cardiff City, right? And we all want the best for the club, but we're all like super pissed off or fed up. All I can say is, let's get behind the team on Saturday and a Wednesday and whatever it is, and then we'll talk about it all week and we'll discuss the different things that come up. I'm never not going to talk about anything or not give my opinion. Probably cost me opportunities and interviews and podcasts and whatever. Like, this is what I like doing, is talking about my football club, and I will never water that down for anyone. Let's have a look at some of the teams you guys have picked. Jonathan's got an interesting one. He's got Alnwick, K Pacquiao, Gutas, Chambers, Giles, Siopis, Robertson, and Colwell. I'm assuming Robinson then would be the striker. That's interesting, mate. I like that. I think Siopis or Rinamoto has to play on Saturday. Paul says, pick the best of the under-21s 11 and play them. Show the so-called first teamers up. Jonathan says, Tanner, Reindorf, Willock. Paul says, Tanner looks absolutely knackered after 30 minutes. Yes, he does. Jeff says, Alnwick, NG, Gutas, Chambers, Bagan, Robertson, Turnbull, O'Dowda, Willock, Tanner, and Robinson. Interesting. So the only change you've made is Ruben and bringing Turnbull back in. I don't think Turnbull and Robertson will work away from home in the form we're in, if I'm honest. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. It'll be interesting. Look out for the preview tomorrow, and also look out for the Slaven Village video, because it's a good one. It's an interesting one, should we say. But yeah, it's content talking about Cardiff. It's what we like to do. Please spread the word, most importantly. Tell your friends, all that good stuff. This has been the Breakdown Extra. I have been Si. This is Cardiff City World. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow, but it'll be pre-recorded. Hopefully see you on Roger Giggs and Football over on the other channel. Nice